What's going on, guys? Jeff in here. Obviously, X on the screen. Double secondary build. It's going to be in a Scharnhorst here. It's going to be a different look for the Scharnhorst a little bit here. Nothing like completely out of the ordinary, but a little bit outside of what I've been running Scharnhorst wise. These secondaries with that double secondary build, 7.8 kilometers on the reach. So we're getting close to acceptable secondary range. And I want to point out here, because it's a Scharnhorst main battery, 17.9 on the range here. Now, there's a little bit of a different setup here for me. Obviously, zero dispersion, and we are running with Silex. If you want to go back, you can kind of look what I'm running here. But in this game, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try to engage ships with HE a little more. And the reason behind that is I just think that the AP on this Scharnhorst against battleships, unless they're giving you flat broadside, it's so weak. So that's kind of where I'm at this point. And we're going to push into the C cap. We're going to assist our destroyer in the C cap. We're going to try to win our flank. That's our job. That's what we're looking to do. One thing I do want to point out, though, and what I do like about the Scharnhorst, 20-second reload. It's pretty darn good for a battleship. But again, you're seeing there, that's American superstructure, and we're not able to do any damage. That's a shatter. So you see there, I highlight the Błyskawica, basically saying, let's support the target. Let's let him get cap. I'm spotted, so I'm going to try to stay close to the edge of this cap. Looking back at it, regardless of what happens here, obviously you see there's a Nevada. It's a failed tier division. One thing I like to point out, if you are in a division, your best bet is to play the same tier ship. Because a lot of times if you're tier 4, tier 5, you end up dragging your tier 4 buddy into a tier 5 and 6 match, which, you're already putting your team behind the 8 ball. Nevada's not a bad ship. I like Nevada, but, you're fighting Scharnhorst and you go 15 knots in the water or whatever it is. So you see there, HE, make the switch, double fire. Obviously it's German HE. It's nothing like completely over the top here, but you're still consistently setting fires. You're still relatively consistently doing damage. Angled Nevada, angled battleship. Let's send the HE out. Okay, let's see what we can do. All right, another 22, almost 2,300 damage on a fire. Right, so you're starting to see. All right, let's burn these guys a little bit. Let's do some damage. And then of course you see the aircraft carrier sends 2 torpedoes. Go down 8K right there, and I pop the heel. And again, we're sending out more HE. We get another 2,400 or 2,500, whatever that number was. Another fire. So up to 5 fires here. You see, I'm just slowing down. I'm throwing on the brakes. Why am I throwing on the brakes? Because there's a smoke screen in front of me. What sits in a smoke screen, folks? Let's look at them. Let's look at the ships that are still available. What sits in a smoke screen? Destroyer. Okay, there's no cruisers in this game. It's 3 destroyers aside, right? Battleship, aircraft carrier. So we thread the needle, right? We basically just barely escape. Now you see here, this is a problem. All right, that Nevada should be dead. Okay, that Nevada has darn near no health left. Okay, this California's going down quick as well, but they're probably within will to rebuild range. Okay, or at least they will be. Because that California is burning, and I'm expecting him to burn out, and go down here. But he's throwing on the brakes. He's making the smart play. So you see there, California. I'm going to send the front guns at him. I think we lose a couple into the mountain. We do. And we do another couple hundred damage there. So again, Scharnhorst AP, great against cruisers. Not very good against battleships unless they're giving flat broadside or they're very, very weakly armored. Battleships, and you can aim that upper belt line, almost the line between superstructure and the bottom of the belt. So again, another 5 pens, another fire, and we're angled well enough. The Scharnhorst on the sides, pretty well angled, or pretty well armored, excuse me. You can punch through the nose, but not with those Nevada guns, and not with the California. So again, you're going to see here, we're going to push these guys. It's go time. We're going to get up here and we're going to rumble. These guys want to close the distance and not open the distance against Scharnhorst. Well, by all means, I got a ship that's going to do 25 plus knots in the water, and you got two things that are going to lumber to do 15. So, if you want to get into this kind of an engagement, I will gladly close the distance. I will gladly get into this brawl, and I'll make you pay for it. So, um, again, we've talked about in the past, how do you combat the Scharnhorst? How do you combat some of these other basically torpedo-centric battleships? Um, you just kite away from them. You don't give them the chance to fight you. So you see here, obviously they're in will to rebuild range. That's a problem. It's a problem for me here. Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, all right, I got fires on both of them. I'm gonna burn them both down. We're gonna end up getting rid of both of them. Now look on the mini map. What do you see? You see a destroyer coming around that corner. This is a problem for me. Secondaries give me the heads up, give me the warning that hey, you got something coming around that corner. So I'm gonna throw the torpedoes out while the main turrets rotate. I threw it in reverse. Probably should have kicked the secondary booster on, but I'm focused on not getting sunk. Take 3 on the nose. Ouch, right? Yeah, that one hurt. But again, now we got the secondaries chiming in. We're doing some decent damage here. And then we're going to send a rear gun out, but unfortunately we're going to hit the island. So that Akatsuki shot his shot, and we're still alive. We're still taking. We still got 24,000 health. So it's go time now. Now I know these 2 battleships are here. That Akatsuki is back around the corner, and he's going to be out of the battle basically for a minute plus with while he's reloading his torpedoes. That gives me a chance to engage these guys. So I go broadside so I can get the rear gun into the action here. Again, they hit me for 5+K, and they're aiming up for structure. They're doing some damage, but again, these secondaries you're seeing, we're getting some little chunk damage with these secondaries. These are good secondaries. I don't want you to think that they're not. And you see there, we test the AP, obviously horrendous dispersion, but we still get about 5K. That's my point. Flat broadside, right? You can do damage. You can really harm battleships when they give you that flat broadside. Now, obviously, that's a failed tier Nevada, but still, it's a battleship that, is broadside. So again, you see there, our armor angling, very well. We are very well armored on the side, and we were able to ricochet a substantial number of shots. So California here, he looks like he's about to try to turn out, kind of realizing that he made a little bit of a mistake here, a little bit of a boo-boo, and we still have the AP loaded. So we burned these guys down. We're gonna, then use the AP. Obviously, with that salvo and those results, I'm gonna switch back to the HE. I'm getting a lot of shatters, a lot of ricochets, not really doing what I want to do to this ship. So again, now I'm going to kick the rear gun in. We're inside 2 kilometers. Basically, he can't evasively maneuver anymore. So it's go time. We're going to burn him. We're going to throw more fire at him. Basically have him down to no health. Akatsuki pops up. We know that those torps at the very least are going to kill him if he doesn't burn to death. And he ends up burning down. So now it's time to engage the Akatsuki. Akatsuki's starting to fire HE at us. Now, what is Akatsuki going to do? Obviously, he's got his torpedoes reloaded, otherwise he would have turned back in for this engagement. Big whiff there initially, but he fired his shot too early. This is a thing here, okay? When you're in these destroyers and you're playing this style, why close the distance to where you're sighted? I mean, he would have had a very good chance of getting me if he wouldn't have been spotted and he just would have, fired on me, right? But obviously between the friendly aircraft carrier and ourselves, they're able to take him down up to 130,000 damage, 2 sinkings. We got an arsonist, we got a high caliber, we got a witherer, 75 secondary hits, and we got 13 fires, right? So again, when you get into that situation where you can brawl, these secondaries do get the job done. I want to briefly highlight why I made the choice to basically try to bounce shell types a little more. You saw some of those early salvos with the AP just not getting the job done, not getting the penetration. Now, I guess the secondary build that I have going, obviously I don't have George Art on there, so I'm not getting that benefit of having that extra AP penetration from the battleship main guns. Maybe that would be a little bit of a difference maker. But for me, when I look at it like this, I like the way that the game, this setup kind of flows, okay? I like having the secondaries that are at 7.8 kilometers. Those come into play. They're much better than the 7.2, 7.3s. Haruna Makes the secondaries much more viable on this ship. Again, I would love to see 8.5, but it's not going to happen. So, is what it is. 7.8 is a efficient enough range to where, or I should say, a range that you will use them enough that the build may be viable. Now, obviously, there's a big discrepancy on whether secondary builds matter or not, whether you should use them or not. I'm in the camp of, if you have main guns that are like this, that are just really not that strong, and you're a torpedo-centric ship, and you have all those, I mean, give yourself the best chance you have to do the most damage that you can. You're going to be closing the gap on everybody anyway. I mean, this is a Vesser here, right? I got the AP loaded. Let's see what happens when I target a aircraft carrier, right? I mean, to me, when I send this salvo out, what is that? Okay, so 6K, 7K, no Citadel though, and I still shattered a shell. So, okay, yes, we do 7K on an aircraft carrier, but I mean, normal battleships, normal tier 5, tier 6 battleships, those are Citadels, right? Those are Citadel shots, and we're shattering. We get 3 ricochets. 3 ricochets in a pen against a basically semi-angled battleship. So again, that's why I have the secondary build. I'm trying to throw as much stuff at the wall, see if anything sticks. If you guys like the video, leave it a like. We will see you guys out on the high seas.